Hello everybody, it's a long time since I've spoken to you. We've been very busy. We had the celebration of James Cutting's life, who passed away at the end of 2022. Was a trustee here and is a huge loss to us all. And that went very well. It was a wonderful day on Sunday. But I now want to talk about problems that are occurring. Of course, I'm always talking about problems because we're not problem free. On Tuesday, we had a message about a very large mule on the Fez Road who was injured but walking along the side of the road. Now the Fez Road from us, it's 24 kilometres into Marrakesh and it's quite a way out from there to the Fez Road. So on top of everything else, we really were busy. We had no alternative, but in the morning, Ayub took the truck out. He phoned me from the site where he'd found the mule. They'd managed to load it onto the truck, but he told me that the leg and the shoulder were broken and there was absolutely no hope. And he is experienced enough to know that. And asked if it would be the best thing to come home via our vet, who may euthanize humanely and bring the mule back here to Bury. Note, bring the mule back here to Bury, because we will not do what the local authority and other charities do and put it on a public tip, okay? Right, so we phoned the vet and he was up in the mountains. Pretty desperate, we really didn't know what to do. So I said, well, get the mule back here. I will try and find a vet who will do the job. That's the one thing we really can't do ourselves, obviously. And I phoned some colleagues and friends and other vets were contacted. One could have come, but not till much later in the day. And then, lo and behold, out of the blue, Dr. Fouad, our vet, telephoned and said he was coming back immediately and he would do it. Now, there are several things to consider there. Normally, these animals are just left to die by the side of the road. Then the municipality will come along, drag them off and throw them on a public tip. In all conscience, we can't do that. And what more can I say? It's just more of the same, isn't it? We do bring them back here to Bury. And of course, we're running out of space. And next year, we've got to have a big drive to have a crematorium built here at Jargier. We certainly will have permission from ONSA, which is the national body, very much like DEFRA in the UK, and I'm sure there's the equivalent in the United States and other countries. But we need to be able to do that because it's heartbreaking, tragic. We are going out and picking animals up that are not our responsibility, actually, because we can't bear to see them die in pain by the side of the road. And that leads me on to the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Those of you that have watched me for years and follow us and seen us grow know we are now huge. And those of you that visit know that this is the most beautiful place in the world. And you may say, well, why? How has this happened? It's happened for these reasons. We approach the work here in a very business-like way. We try to be ultra-professional. We comply with the laws and the regulations, both here and in the UK, where our trust is established. And all money collected goes into the UK is under strict supervision and is regulated by the Charity Commission. And the whole thing has grown and worked very well because when people visit, they see that what I say on Facebook or we post is as it is. We don't have volunteers, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I'd ask you to remember, those of you that visit, and all our visitors are wonderful, that this is also our home. I do think that we are probably the only substantial charity in Morocco that actually has the charity on our land that we own and we live here. I was advised at one time that we should perhaps move out and go and have a smart house in the Palmery so people might not think we're too wealthy. Well, stuff and nonsense to that. We built our home here first, and Charles and I are here 24 hours a day, but it is our home. So therefore, if you live here, we want to keep it beautiful, not only for us and our family, but for the animals, most importantly for the animals and the people who visit. And the people who visit always say, oh, it's spotless. How do you do it? This is how we do it. We have the most amazing staff. Those of you that know me will know that I was a human rights barrister. Charles was a trade union solicitor. So we're very committed to workers' rights. That goes without saying. And the position in Morocco is, and it is a lawful position as of law, that no one should be employed in Morocco unless they are doing a job that cannot be done by a Moroccan. So very often in the hotels, there will all be Moroccan staff, and you may find a manager who speaks English and has links with other countries, and their contract is justified. But it isn't just a straightforward issue of, here we have a charity, come on folks, everybody come in. Absolutely not. It's our home, we employ our staff. We treat all our staff as if they are members of our trade union. We don't do anything without their agreement and their consent. And for that reason, we have mutual trust and respect. We are in Morocco and we pay the going rate, perhaps a little bit extra, but that is substantially less than a wage in the UK or in the West, generally. So our staff bills are remarkable. We are able to run this place very effectively on very little. Reason we have the staff. They're experienced Berbers. They know animals well. They know about animal welfare, and they are able to teach us. Come on, we're lawyers. We've had to learn about donkeys. And they're very committed. And because of their commitment, we now have over 250 equines, and the equines all know them. So when you see them running in at night from the bottom field, it's because the staff are there, and the staff say, go this way. They don't need halters. There's respect between the animals and the staff. They love to see visitors because they love to be patted and stroked, but they find it very difficult as equines to work with volunteers. The work here is also very hard because the ground is so hard. We live in desert conditions. And we have learnt from experience that it is actually more cost effective to employ a member of staff from the village than to have a volunteer. If we have a volunteer and they want accommodation, the cost of the accommodation, the food, very often they will want heating, air conditioning, things that Charles and I do without, becomes an impossible cost, far more than employing another member of staff. I then move on to the fact that we have huge support and respect from the national authorities, and we own the land. And we are not permitted, for example, a lot of people would like to visit with trailers, vans, because they're travelling through Morocco, but we don't have permission to have those vehicles rest on our land overnight. And if we did, the local authority would be up in no time at all to tell us we can't do that. We also don't have the room because our land is either gardens, olive groves, or stables, more stables and more stables. So visitors are more than welcome. Really, really they are. And the donkeys, the horses, they all love to see them. In terms of our home, We now have had to tighten up as well because Charles and I are getting older. So, of course, family come over and stay in the family home. We don't open the doors to lots of visitors anymore because we don't have the energy, the facilities, the money to provide accommodation for people who are not family. Family come over, they're part of the family, they muck in and they help, and then that they're not paid. I hope people understand that. So I'm asking you to understand that we have built the charity on our land. The charity can rent the land off us for £10 a year, but it remains our land, and we're advised that's the best thing to do. We live here, it's our own accommodation. We don't have residential accommodation for volunteers or the staff to deal with volunteers, or even the willingness of the staff to work with volunteers. There are a couple of people who do come and help us from time to time who are very close to the staff. But I'm getting more and more requests from people who are travelling through Morocco. Can we stay a few nights, park our van and help? No, you can't. You can't for the reasons I've just spelt out. We owe our existence to the fact that the authorities allow us to stay here and do what we do and run our association. We don't have a home elsewhere. We have nothing in England anymore. And if we start breaking the rules and we're told we're residents and we're domiciled here, but you know, Morocco could turn us out at any time. So I have to work with people, not against people. And for me, the most important people in terms of running our refuge are Moroccans. Everyone else is hugely important because they support us, they donate to us, they visit, they love being here. But we are a day visiting centre. Sorry to be a bit blunt, but that's as it is. And I'll speak to you all again soon. I'll put this on YouTube for Facebook, and I'll try and put it straight onto Instagram. Sorry to have whittled on so long, but I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.